Hi, I'm Len Reo, president of the Attivo Group, and I'm going to explain the use of this Excel worksheet to calculate the return on investment between cloud hosting and having servers on premise. So you'll notice that there are two different colors on this spreadsheet. This light blue color is all calculated for you, and the orange column is where you would input the expenditures that you anticipate for the various elements of cost on the left. So imagine that you were anticipating replacing servers in this year, and you're trying to make this decision. Should we go cloud hosting, or is it less expensive and more reasonable for us to remain on premise? So here you would enter all of the server costs that you anticipate. Remember, if you're hosting a product like Macola or SAP Business One, it requires multiple servers, and it's not a best practice to have every part of those services loaded on the same server. So at a minimum, you need a server capable of being virtualized, and certainly one that has RAID 5 hard drive support. Along with that, you're going to need the later versions of the Windows operating system, Windows Server 2019. Perhaps you're going to be running SQL Server, so you'll need licensing for SQL Server. These are all estimates. I encourage you, of course, to get your own quotes on these and plug these numbers in. When you replace the system hardware like this, typically you need to replace the backup system that goes along with it. The older backup systems don't even have the capacity that we need now with the kind of databases that we're running. This is also typically the time when the UPS or battery backup system is replaced. So there's a cost for that. Antivirus software will need to be, that subscription will need to be renewed or purchased. There's going to be some IT services necessary to configure your server and get it operational and running for your applications again. Disaster recovery is something that if you're not currently paying for it, you probably should have a disaster recovery plan in place, and that carries with it a certain cost. That cost is included in your cloud hosting cost. So to get an apples and apples comparison, you should have some kind of cost in that line item. Chances are you need to have a contract in place with an outsourced IT support organization. I've plugged in $500 per month for all of the server management, the patching, the updates, any kind of repairs that you might need along the way. Perhaps there are costs related to security, maybe a surveillance system that you have in place for server security. There's an argument, pro and con for plugging in a cost for electricity, but there is a cost. And then there's usually someone internal, whether it's just handling backups or doing some of the minor IT network support, that is spending part of their salary supporting your internal network. So some kind of calculation for a full-time equivalent can be plugged in there. Then just plug in 12 times the hosting quote to get the annual costs. That represents the total cost for the year. And so what you see is a 5-year total cost of ownership comparison. It assumes that you would be replacing your equipment in a 5-year time span. I know you may have kept your existing server equipment for 8 years or 10 years, and that's terrific, but there was business risk associated with that, and certainly some loss of efficiency given that old server equipment. So as you can see, this was a positive impact of $28,000 over the course of 5 years, and that was based on $2,000 a month a cloud hosting cost for 40 users in this particular case. So we've included this ROI worksheet for your use to determine whether or not it makes sense to get substantially out of the IT business or not.